Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chapter 11 Review. The majority of your chapter tests will consist of problems where you have to factor completely. So you're going to notice quite a bit of review from what we did yesterday in class and what you did Thursday night when you watched and completed your notes for the lesson 11.8. So if you get stuck in here, you can always go back and take a look at lesson 11.8 for some further reinforcement. Before we get into that, though, let's take a look at problems 1 and 2. It says express as equivalent expressions. So here's what we're going to do here. We have a choice depending on what's going on. Here we have 7xy squared. We can do the prime factorization for this particular problem. And the reason for that is there really is no mathematical operation to perform here. Number 2 is quite a bit different because we can actually square x plus 5. And the way we do that is by rewriting x plus 5 squared as x plus 5 times x plus 5. Remember that squaring something means multiplying by itself. So I am going to use double distributive property here. You can FOIL, you can use box method, whatever you prefer. X times x plus 5 and 5 times x plus 5 is double distributive property. This gives me x squared plus 5x, and this gives me 5x plus 25. So the final answer is x squared plus 10x plus 25, so I will box that up. So there are a couple of problems where you have to do some squaring, some prime factorization, and some double distributive or box method or FOIL. Alright, factoring completely. So now we're going to start on our checklist. Step 1 is to identify a GCF, and you can see that there is a 6 in both terms. So this becomes 6 times x squared minus y squared. Then we take a look at the parentheses. I can take the square root of x squared. It is x. I can take the square root of y squared. It is y. And there's a minus sign. That is difference of two squares. So I do the difference of two squares. Square root of x squared, square root of y squared, plus minus in there. And that is factored completely. Number 4, remember we take the square root of an exponent by dividing it by 2. So when I take a look at this problem, I can take the square root of x to the 4th. I am able to take the square root of 1, and there is a minus sign. This is difference of two squares. The square root of x to the 4th is x squared. The square root of 1 is 1, and I do a plus minus. Now, this second term, x squared minus 1, is difference of two squares again. I'll bring down my x squared plus 1, which is not factorable. For the second expression here, x squared minus 1, the square root of x squared, the square root of 1, plus minus. And that is the answer to number 4. As you can see here, there's a pretty heavy review component. Obviously, this is our review assignment. You may want to pause after writing down the question and give it a try on your own, because you are certainly capable of doing these problems without my assistance. So number 5, if you wish, pause the tape and give the problem a try. Step 1, we're going to look for a GCF. That's 3. If I take 3 out, I'm left with x squared plus 2x plus 1. So I have a trinomial in my parentheses. I'm going to go to the trinomial factoring technique. I'll identify A, B, and C. I'll do my puzzle. Factors of AC that add up to BB are 1 and 1. So this becomes 3 times x squared plus 1x plus 1x plus 1. This becomes 3 times x plus 1 plus 1 times x plus 1. And the final answer, 3 times x plus 1 times x plus 1. I'll box that up. Alright, number 6. If you wish, pause the tape and give it a try. Once again, we're going to take a look for a GCF. You notice that I can take an x out of all 3 terms. So this leaves me with x times x squared plus 7x plus 10. So I have a trinomial. A is 1, B is 7, C is 10. So I do my puzzle. Factors of AC that add up to B are 5 and 2. So this becomes x times x squared plus 5x plus 2x plus 10. Start my factoring by grouping. And I'll factor an x plus 5 out of both terms. I'll be left with an x plus 2. There's the answer to number 6. Number 7, if you wish, pause a moment and give it a try. Alright, take a look. We have a GCF here of 4. I'm going to take that out. That'll be leaving us with 4 times 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. A is 4, B is negative 4, C is 1. So for my puzzle, factors of AC, A times C is 4. They add up to be B, which is negative 4. That's going to be negative 2 and negative 2. So this becomes 4 times 4x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 1. Take a look at those first two terms. You can take out a 2x. You're left with 2x minus 1. The last two terms, all I want to do is change their sign, so I'll factor out a negative 1 to do that. Gets me here. And then finally, as our last step, I'll factor out a 2x minus 1 from both, leaving me with a 2x minus 1. That is our final answer. Problem 8. Give it a pause if you'd like to give that problem a try. Alright, we're going to look for a GCF. It appears that y is the GCF, so I'll take that out. That leaves us with y squared minus 25. You can take the square root of y squared. You can also take the square root of 25. And clearly you can see that's a difference. There's a subtraction sign between them. That is different to 2 squares. The square root of y squared is y. The square root of 25 is 5. And I'll do plus minus. Or minus plus. Remember, the order of those signs do not matter because multiplication is commutative. So whether or not x plus 5 is first or x minus 5 is first does not matter. Let's take a look at number 9. Number 9, z to the 6th minus z squared. If you'd like to take a moment and give this problem a try, do so now. Okay, we are going to factor out z squared. That is the greatest common factor. That leaves us with z squared times z to the 4th minus 1. When you divide powers that have the same base, you subtract the exponents. So 6 minus 2 is 4. That's where the z to the 4 comes from. Z to the 4 minus 1 is different to 2 squares. Remember, you take the square root of an even exponent by dividing it in half. So half of 4 is 2. Square root of 1 is 1. And we do our plus minus. Now once again, if you take a look here, that is also different to 2 squares. So my z squared isn't going anywhere. It's done. My z squared plus 1 isn't going anywhere. It's done. But I have to factor z squared minus 1. That's z plus 1 minus 1. And you may remember problems similar to that on your homework assignment yesterday. Or I should say your classwork assignment. Last but not least, number 10, we are going to express as a trinomial. Now what they're talking about is you want to multiply these together. If 2x plus 7 and 3x minus 2 are factors of a trinomial, we can multiply them together to find that trinomial. So the directions are a little bit confusing, but ultimately it's just multiplication that you're going to be doing. So we're going to do double distributive property, once again box method, FOIL, whatever you want. 2x times 3x, 2x times negative 2, 7 times 3x, 7 times negative 2. We combine like terms. And we box it up, or in this case I guess I'll circle it. Okay? This has been Review. We are going to work on page 465 in class. I will also have a pre-test for you tomorrow. Okay, don't forget to write your summaries and pose a question on this lesson to bring with you tomorrow to class. Have a great evening. Goodbye.